Welcome, everyone, to DSN Off the Ropes, episode number 2, the WWE Elimination Chamber. I'm Brett Swinney. Got a couple of guys here I want to introduce again to you. We've got Brandon Ogden from the Tyler Paper and the Kyle Owens. What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
I just had to get y'all hyped there a little bit.
We the ones.
As we're coming off a pretty good WWE Elimination Chamber, I'm going to say, fellas. And first off, how's everything going this weekend for you guys?
I'm at work, so you know how that is. I'm not. It's not great. We got American Idol on TV. We got. I didn't get to watch my NASCAR race today. I'm gonna have to watch it later.
Do you know one, Kyle?
Brett, listen. I will sign off of this podcast so quick.
But you won't sign off because you want to talk. You want to talk Elimination Chamber.
I do.
You're not. I mean, wouldn't you rather talk Elimination Chamber than talk about work?
Absolutely, 100%. Let's talk wrestling.
Brandon, how's your weekend going?
It's going good. It's been a lot of it. Like Kyle said, there's been a lot of things to watch. Great day of college basketball yesterday, Elimination Chamber, NASCAR today, all NBA All-Star stuff. So it's been no shortage for XL, no shortage for sports fans.
Yeah. What about did y'all see the comeback? San Antonio had a 12
you can go for three. You can go for three from the 10-yard line.
And then you can choose to get the ball back on your own 25, 4th and 5th. I love that rule.
Me too.
Like you're never out of the game. Makes it interesting.
Here's what I don't like about the XFL. I get they're trying to have, all this like right on the sidelines after a big play, let's interview the player and he's dog tired. Like, let the man breathe. You know what I mean? Like that's the only part I don't really care for, but I think the 3-point conversion, it can add a lot to the game because now if you're down by 9, you still have a chance to tie it up. I do like the 4th down play instead of the onside kick. There's a couple of rules in the XFL that I think if the NFL adopted, it would make the NFL a little more exciting too.
You have a lot better chance to get a 4th and 15 than you do an onside kick.
100%.
Exactly.
I don't like games where even if you got 3 timeouts, if there's more than 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes left, you don't have a chance. You're not getting the ball back. So
and you could easily pick a penalty up and get the first down that way. There's lots of ways you can get it on that 4th and 15. And they've made it where it's so hard to get an onside kick now with all these rule changes. What about the kickoff? What do you think about that?
That's interesting. I don't mind it. Honestly, I think it cuts down on, full speed collisions between grown men, which is always good, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you force, even on the punts, you can't, if you punt the ball out of bounds inside the 35, it goes to the 35. It makes them have to be that's part of the game instead of them just kicking the ball out of bounds or, it makes the return game more in the game. I like that. I do like that.
Yeah. I said, if they adopt a couple of rules and move it to the NFL, not everything, but just a couple of rules, I think it'd be cool.
It's a good place to try it out. Give it a shot and see how the fans and everyone likes it. Let's talk Elimination Chamber, fellas. Overall impressions of Elimination Chamber.
I thought it was a great show. I would probably say the best Triple H show that he's put on since he's taken over. I know Clash at the Castle was great, but I would say Elimination Chamber probably took the cake from the opening. Both chamber matches were phenomenal. The mixed tag match was great, and of course the ending with Roman and the Bloodline and Sammy and all that was absolutely fantastic. The only thing I didn't like was Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. That's
hey,
it. Other than that, it was great.
Did you hear they're going to rematch tomorrow night? I mean, I'm just kidding.
Great. Well, that'll be something I can just fast forward through when I'm rewatching.
Brandon, what you
rematch eventually? But
yeah, what'd you think, Brandon?
It was great. I was great. I was. Like Kyle said, obviously the Brock Bobby left a lot to be desired, and there were some things here and there, could have went differently, but overall just started great. The women kicked off great, and then it just all the way through, and then the ending was fantastic. So
the only thing that I didn't like, I liked the show overall as a pay-per-view. The thing I did not like was the words predictable. I probably could have filled out, who was going to win from the beginning, and Kyle and I kind of talked about it the other day, just in talking, it was going to be one of those that you already kind of, and I don't know that if that's because they already had determined the championship match. I kind of wish that it wasn't already decided. Like I don't know, it made it harder. If this match would have happened before Cody Rhodes wins the Rumble, and you didn't know who was going to win the Rumble, but now that was determined, it was kind of like, everybody knew what was going to happen. You hope that they went crazy and just, let Sammy win, which would have been insane.
What?
But I just that was my only problem with all pay-per-view, because every match, like, you just thought
Sammy was going to win for a second, and then they have him a rematch on Friday, and then Roman get it right back.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have liked that, because then you would have broken a 900+ day reign for what, 5 days? I mean, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
I'm with you though, Brandon. I really thought towards the end of that match, I really thought Sammy, that was probably the closest near fall I've seen in Roman Reigns' whole, reign, if you will, with the championships. It was so close. But once the first official got knocked down, I said, here come the Usos. Here comes the tomfoolery. Once the official got knocked down.
Then you had the second one get knocked out. Like, oh my goodness, come on.
Yeah, it was like I said, I thought it was, I'm with Brandon too. There's a couple of things that I think could have been done differently. And I'm with you too, Brett. I think it was very predictable. The only one I didn't know for sure is the men's chamber with the U.S. championship. I honestly didn't know if that theory would retain. I thought maybe they'd give it to Rollins, maybe, but then they set up Rollins and Logan Paul. So that was the only one that was kind of unpredictable to me.
Yeah, I thought it might change hands there. And then, the other thing I did like how they, used Cody throughout the week, the last couple, talking to Sammy and kind of, leave a little doubt there, but
they were just trying to create a little semblance of doubt.
Exactly. But with Cody can make things kind of believable. The only thing that last night which it's going to happen this week now, I thought we'd get a little more clarity towards WrestleMania. And I feel like last night only two things kind of clarified for Mania, and that was Asuka and Bianca, and then Logan Paul Seth. But other than that, we didn't really get much clarity towards Mania.
Well, we've got Roman and Cody obviously now. That cleared up.
Yeah, but it still leaves. We kind of already knew that though, but it still leaves a lot like what's gonna happen with Sammy, what's gonna happen with Kevin, what's gonna happen with the Usos.
Well, I really thought last night that Jay would turn on Sammy. I thought he was turning on Sammy in Montreal, so everybody, all the heat would then go from Roman to Jay, which sets up the tag team match. But Jay never turned. He didn't hit Sammy with the chair. He got speared inadvertently, and then you didn't see him the rest of the show.
Yeah, that's why I thought he would come back after Sammy did the hoover kick to Roman. I thought we'd see Jay one more time.
They're leaving that. They're leaving that, so we have to come back and watch is what's going to happen with that. They're going to keep that. But you still got like 5 or 6 weeks till Mania, so you got to have something to keep you coming back. Let's talk about the first match then.
Yeah.
It was the women's elimination chamber match. I kind of figured Asuka was going to win just because of the participants in the match. Not that none of them deserved it, but I just thought that of the ones there for Mania match, Asuka is kind of the obvious one. Was there anybody there, Brandon, that you thought other than Asuka had a chance? Maybe Liv?
Yeah, I didn't think Liv would win. It was Asuka and like maybe Raquel. But I thought it was gonna be Asuka. And just the way they ended Raw and SmackDown, she was the last one standing both times. I thought it was gonna be Asuka, and there's no way you can bring her back like you did and not give her that kind of push.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they did.
I did enjoy the match.
Yeah, they did. They did make Raquel stay strong though, as it took two women to pin her.
That was pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like the way that ended because that
actually I thought there might be a chance Carmella might win. I just thought about that. But just because, and I like what she did in the match, but I always thought it was gonna be Asuka.
She's a great heel, and like she could carry the belt, but for a Mania match, I didn't think it was going to be one that she would win. She did her normal, like running around, hiding from people, taunting people, sneaking in and getting a pin when someone else did the work. That's kind of typical Carmella. But she played her part in the match, which I thought was great. Some of the spots were pretty incredible. I mean, I thought honestly it could have been one of the best women's Elimination Chamber matches as far as just the overall things that they did. I thought that was cool that Natalya was there. She kind of turned face for this one being in Canada there. Kind of a cool touch to have her in the match. And Kyle, was there anybody to you besides Asuka that had a chance to win when the bell rang?
I thought maybe they would give it to either Liv or Raquel. I thought one of them may have been. I didn't want to see Liv win it just because she's kind of been in the title picture, and the only other one I thought they may give it to would be Raquel. But I honestly don't think she's ready quite yet for the main event scene. So after eliminating those two, it was like, okay. And once it came down to
Asuka, you didn't think it was going to be Carmella?
No. Once it was Asuka and Carmella, I said, oh, Asuka's got this.
Well, and we mentioned too, Brandon thought Raquel, and I thought possibly Liv. I just, as far as ones I could see winning, I kind of agree with you. I think Raquel's still got time. They made her look strong. Brandon and I discussed because they took two women to pin her. Mm-hmm. So I think that was cool that they, still she can take the loss and still look strong. Because you're kind of building her up. You don't want to make her look weaker. But yeah, once I like Liv, and I think what she did with the title was cool. But it's Mania time, and I think you're trying to sell tickets in Hollywood. Asuka is the definite choice. After she came back and was repackaged, I think she's been pretty much on a roll. So,
well, they protected Liv too by having her be double submitted, by Natalya and Asuka. So they kind of protected Liv too. And honestly, I think after Extreme Rules, I think that Liv, after she said you were gonna have to pry this title from her dead hands, and then she tapped out. So I don't think they're going to allow her to tap anymore. I think she's just going to pass out and do it that way.
I do have a question. So, they had that where it could have been Becky or Bayley added in. Would y'all have liked one of them to be added in to give it maybe like a contender, someone else other than Asuka? I hope that one of them could win. Or do you think if one of them's in, it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to win?
No, honestly, I would have thought it would have added something to the match because I personally, I said Liv, but I didn't see anybody beating Asuka. Now you have Bayley or Becky in there, then you've got to consider them as being an option. I like matches that have options. That's one of the things I didn't like with the two matches. Like I didn't see many people winning the men's match either. We'll get and talking about that later, but just who they had in it. Like I like the people in it. Like I like Johnny Gargano. But I just didn't see him having a chance to win. I like,
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed, yes, I like him, but he's not there. He's just so raw. He's new to the main roster at least.
But since it's for the U.S. title, I thought since it was for the U.S. title, I was like they could do a lot of options because I really, like Kyle said, I thought Theory was going to drop it last night, and I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was going to be. I thought Montez maybe. I got my Street Profit shirt on be, but
now Montez though. Montez was impressive though. Oh wait, hold on. Oh,
you gotta save that for the end.
At the table, wait, we're not ready for that yet, Kyle.
Yeah.
So
save that for the end.
Now Montez, of any participant, I was impressed. He had some spots that were just ridiculous. Like that guy.
We'll get to that later, but yeah,
he's so athletic. And I like the Street Profits gimmick. I like that so much. I don't want them to split those two. I know it's probably coming at some point, but man, he was impressive last night. You don't realize how big he is too until he steps in the ring and he's as big as something. Yeah, he's not. I guess when you put him next to Angelo Dawkins, it makes him look smaller. But he's such a big guy and he's got so much spring. in his leaps. I mean, he's doing some crazy stuff.
The Becky and Bailey thing though, I didn't want them in it, honestly. Bailey's been the whole damage control gimmick with Bailey is kind of not doing it for me. And I don't think she's kind of earned any title shot. So if she would have been put in there, I wouldn't have expected her to win it either. And Becky, I think they're setting Becky up for, in my opinion, I think Becky and Bailey is going to be a Mania match. And I think that maybe a triple, not a triple threat, but a 3-on-3 woman tag match with kind of Lita. I think Becky
Trish.
and Lita and Trish will tag against Damage Control. That's why I think they're setting up for Mania. So to me, I was okay with not seeing Becky or Bailey in the chamber.
I like that match. That would be really cool. Of course, you've already seen Trish on air. I mean, Lita on air, but Trish hasn't been around in a while. But that would be a really cool thing. I think that would put that match up there pretty high. Adding those two names. So, because I don't think you want to see Bailey Becky 1-on-1. That's not, if there's no belt on the line, does it really mean anything? You're going to expect the Damage Control to come in and interfere. But if at least you have, or even if they're 1-on-1 and maybe that Trish and Lita are in her corner or something, maybe that if they don't have the match itself. That way, at least it gives kind of some intriguing storylines there.
Yeah, I just think that's where they're headed is the 3-woman tag at Mania. So I think leaving them out of it. Now I think it's Asuka's time, and I know we'll have a show before Mania or after Mania, one of the two, probably both. But I think that Bianca's losing the title at Mania to Asuka. I think Bianca's run as champion is kind of gone a little stale, and she's gone through everybody. I mean, there's nobody left. So I think Asuka may be taking the championship at Mania from Bianca. It would be nice to see Bianca chasing for a while instead of defending.
Yeah, she has had it for quite a while.
Yeah.
And Kyle, you were there last year also. I mean, did you agree that first night Bianca and Becky had the best match of that first night last year?
Yeah.
I think Bianca and Asuka could put on a similar pretty good show. So
yeah, 100%. And if you look at Bianca's past WrestleMania matches, I mean, she with Sasha Banks, Mercedes Varnado, and
she won the title the other night.
Yeah,
Did y'all see that on the NJ or New Japan Pro show?
She won the IGWP Women's Championship. But Bianca's first match with Sasha, which was huge. Then she had a match last year with Becky, and then this year with Asuka. Bianca, I mean, she is great at what she does. I just think her title run is a little stale. So is
it time for her to turn heel?
I don't think you can turn her heel just because of I don't know.
It's an easy gimmick though, because she says she's the EST of everything. She could be real cocky and just
But she's also a PR gold mine.
Yeah.
I feel like if you do, you got to do it with us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they ever have him turn on Angelo and then have them do it together, kind of be like the baddest couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, it is after so long. Like when you had the Roman deal, it took them how many years to figure out? Like he was getting booed. He was getting booed all over the place. He gets more cheers now. Well, not last night. Last night's an exception. But in a lot of places, he gets more cheers now than he did before he turned heel. It was like everybody was getting tired of Roman Reigns. Like, oh, poor Roman. I mean, it wasn't working. And they finally listened, and it's been the best storyline in wrestling for the last several years.
Yeah. Bianca's a PR gold mine, though. I don't know if you want the face of the company being a heel. I think she could portray herself. She could be herself out in public and in these interviews and everything, and be more positive for the WWE than her being a heel. I think at some point she will need to turn heel, but I just right now I don't think it's the best.
That was like Bailey for the longest time was the face, and it was like the hugger, but she was that same way. And honestly, she's done some of her best work since she's turned heel.
She has. I agree.
I mean, All right, so that was a pretty good match. I think they did a good job with it overall, and I give it probably a B plus or an A there. That was to me it was a pretty good overall match. Even though we kind of all thought Asuka was going to win, the match itself was pretty solid. Now,
I think I'd give it a B, and the only reason I'm gonna give it a B is because it was at the end after somebody, I want to say after Liv got eliminated, it was kind of rapid fire eliminations after that. They didn't let it kind of breathe, because I want to say that after Liv got eliminated, once Natalya got eliminated, Liv was still in the chamber. Like, Liv hadn't been able to leave the chamber yet. So I would have liked to see him let it breathe a little more. But I mean, overall, just nitpicky things. But overall, I thought it was a great match.
Well, when you don't have to nitpick to find things wrong, that means it's a pretty good match.
Right.
So, all right, now this is going to be, we're going to call this the Battle of the BLs. Kyle's favorite match. He loved it. He wants it to go on and on and on, feud forever. We got Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Who.
Bobby Lashley.
I honestly, when I saw this match, I was like, okay, this could be something. This could be, they've only done it a few times and it's been recent, but the finish for me blatantly sucked. Why would you just kick him in the nuts? I mean, come on now. I forgot, who was it that was it Seth that did that for a while, that was kicking everybody in the balls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. And I know they're trying to this is another excuse to bring the match back again, I'm sure.
No.
But nobody, but I think we're all tired of it. I know me and Kyle are. Brandon, how do you feel about the
Same here.
I mean,
Friday night you had Bray Wyatt with Uncle Howdy and say Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, I'm coming. So I'm like, after Brock destroying everybody, I'm expecting to see Bray Wyatt.
I don't want that either. I mean, here's my thing: Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, and I tweeted this out last night. They are two of the most physically gifted athletes on this planet. They are amazing. So how come every time these two are in the ring together, it's such a crappy match? They don't wrestle. All they do is hit finishers on each other. They hit a spear, F5, spear, F5, spear, F5, hurt lock, and then a kick to the nuts. They are. But I guess what frustrates me is that I know they're better than that. So I don't know why they're getting booked to just, be like two big bulls just hitting each other. I don't like how it was booked. I don't like how it made Lesnar look, that Lesnar is supposed to be the alpha male, and yet he's in a hurt lock and has to go for a low blow to get out of it. The whole thing just didn't sit well with me. And we've talked about this match more than how long it lasted last night.
Yeah, it's already probably been over by now.
Yeah. And the post-match stuff with Brock, what are we doing here? He did that the last time.
Can he just attack refs and doesn't get suspended, or is there no punishment?
Because I feel like we're not going to see him for a little bit, at least for a couple,
Good.
They'll be back for Mania, but.
And I'm sure because of this finish, a DQ finish, I'm sure it's Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar part 4 at Mania. And that will be my bathroom break.
I'd always heard Brock and Gunther at Mania, so we'll see.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
I don't know how they make that happen.
Gunther's such a great wrestler that I wouldn't want to see him in the ring with Brock.
See, I think it could elevate Brock. I don't know. We'll see.
I think personally,
Gunther and Bobby though would intrigue me more.
Yeah, 100%. And I hope Brock Lesnar never sees this, because if he does, he can break me in half like a twig. But honestly, I'm good with Brock Lesnar never stepping foot in a WWE ring ever again. I'm over the whole Brock experience. He's there for a paycheck. He doesn't wrestle more than 5. He's on that Bill Goldberg status where he's just in there for 5 minutes, gets a paycheck, and goes out. Now,
we'll see Goldberg tomorrow night, right?
Probably getting ready for it. Maybe Goldberg and Lesnar at Mania.
News Goldberg.
Maybe
Goldberg and Bobby.
Honestly, at this point, I'd rather see Goldberg, because at least I hadn't seen him on my screen in a little bit. And Brock
last year at Mania.
Yeah, since last year.
Oh man,
maybe
he manages his son, Goldberg.
I would be okay with Bobby and Gunther, but I think Gunther's match at Mania is with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre in a triple threat. I think that's where that's headed.
Is there anything but an F to describe this match?
A G for garbage.
I didn't like it. It was
Not
one
at
of
all.
those that it was definitely a bathroom break. Go get your dinner match.
You didn't have enough time.
Well, that's true.
It's a very
That's
good
true.
point.
Very
Well, with the entrances
Yeah.
and then the replays, you had about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, let's move on because I'm honestly tired of talking about this match as it was that bad.
We gave it more
Now
time.
we get to a
than
really
we
good
needed.
one. So
Yeah, we got the mixed tag between Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Thoughts on this one, fellas?
incredible.
Yeah, incredible. I enjoyed the heck out of this. The crowd, as they should be, was super hot for Edge and Beth. What kind of not really surprised me, but what I thought was funny, and Brandon, I know you watch AEW too, so you'll understand where I'm going with this. Old Dominic over there doesn't have anything to do with the match, and he's getting "Fu Dominic" chants from Montreal. It's the same heat that Sammy Guevara got for the longest time in AEW. Sammy, if he just walked out of that tunnel, it was "Fu Sammy" chants from everybody. And I just think that is so funny. And it's really a credit to Dom that I think when he was tied with his dad, Ray, I think he wasn't being able to kind of fully get out from under his dad's shadow, which, I mean, Ray is a Hall of Famer. Like, he's fantastic. But I think Dom, now that he's with Judgment Day, is he's embracing that heel persona that he's got. And I just thought it was so funny. Dominic had nothing to do with the match, and he's getting "Fu Dominic" chants from Montreal. I thought it was great.
I think Dom and Rhea carry Judgment Day. It should be Finn and Damian, but what makes Judgment Day intriguing is what Rhea and Dominic did.
Yeah, I really do. I think you're right, Brandon. You're hitting the nail on the head. This is the Judgment Day thing has done more for Dominic Mysterio's career than any of the other three, honestly. Even Rhea Ripley, to be honest. When he was with his dad, I was like, get him off my TV. He can't wrestle. Like, I don't want to see him.
No personality.
No. So now that he's, especially since he went to the slammer gimmick. Oh, that was perfect. He thinks he's like he can run the cell block. He's like, the big bad guy, and so I think they're really trying to play. He's even got the hair going out like Eddie Guerrero. They're trying to play the whole semblance to Eddie and Ray's deal. So now he's the Eddie Guerrero of the two. And I really think now he's given his wrestling time to hopefully improve because he hasn't had to wrestle a whole lot. They mix him in with tag matches and such where they can kind of hide that. But his character is a million times better now with this gimmick. I still never understood the whole Edge started Judgment Day, then Finn comes in and just all of a sudden steals it, and Edge is now flip-flop back and forth. I didn't like that whole dynamic the way it started. But I think it's helped all of them, but it's really elevated Dominic and also Rhea as well, but all of them as well. It's been better than I thought it was going to be when it first happened. I thought at first I was like, why did we just do that? It just started this group.
Well, there's some backstage news on why Edge got out of it, because allegedly Vince and Bruce wanted it to have supernatural powers, and Edge was like, "No, I'm good on that. Checked out." And so that's why the angle of him being beaten out of the Judgment Day happened. But truthfully, and I know we kind of hit on this at Royal Rumble too, and it's kind of like beating a dead horse. The idea of Judgment Day under Vince McMahon and the idea of Judgment Day under Triple H are night and day. Like the presentation, the matches, the promos are all different now. And I think that's what's elevated everybody. Rhea looks amazing. I think Rhea should
perfect right in.
I think Rhea will win the title at Mania too. I think she takes it from Charlotte. Dom has elevated his, and I think Finn and Damian are good additions to the group. I'm with you though. I think this group is led personally by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is the head of the table, if you will, for the Judgment Day.
I like how you did that.
Like I did that. Yeah, she is mommy. And I think the group is a lot better now. And I will say this though, I'm kind of over Edge and Finn Balor and Judgment Day. I kind of hope this is a blow off and that this is done. Because it's been going on since Extreme Rules. So
they need another group to feud with.
Yeah. Well, Hurt Business may be getting back together
with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, have you seen the promos in the back? The MVP's been talking to Cedric Alexander and Shelton
Benjamin. Omos.
Get Omos out of here too. Omos and Brock Lesnar off my television for the rest of it forever.
Omos turns and forms an alliance with Brock Lesnar, and they feud with Hurt Business.
I will boycott every single episode that they're on.
Oh man,
we better get Dom and Ray. Like I don't. Ray's got to snap eventually.
As long as he gets healed up, he got injured right there before the Rumble, so we hadn't seen it since.
He faced Karrion Kross on Friday.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Well, he was in it was like a fatal 4-way for to be. Or it was not this Friday. It was the last Friday to face Gunther.
And he's going 1-on-1 with Karrion Kross this Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. So it shows how much I skip through matches on Friday to try to. Fridays.
Okay, you missed Madcap Moss? He's probably gonna main event Mania.
Madcap Moss? No.
Bring
him back. I always liked him when he was with what was it?
Corbin
Sabatelli on NXT when they had their little group and they were all about the money. Their little song they had. It was I liked them. They feuded with who was it they feuded with? Oh, it was Street Profits back and forth. Back and down NXT. I really like that feud.
You faced Gunther there night, and you knew how that was going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked all right though. Moss looked all right in the match. He needs a name change. I can't take anybody seriously named Madcap Moss.
Yeah, I thought they just did that for the whole thing with Corbin, the Happy Corbin Madcap Moss. So I thought he was going to go back to
that poor guy.
Another person, Corbin, Lesnar, and Omos.
That's your triple threat for Mania right there.
Hey, that would be a great. Just call it the bathroom break match. They just
that's your Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I mean,
my still do that. Those three are terrible. Now I want to know: did y'all catch this in the? Did y'all catch the botch in this match on the near pinfall?
Oh yes. That was a miss. The ref didn't miss it, but it was not broken up in time.
No, well, the ref also stopped his hand,
and
then Beth dove in. I was like, that didn't look good. There were a couple of
the camera was right on it too, so it was very obvious.
I mean, but Beth looked fantastic for not wrestling all the time. She looked great, did great, hit a glam slam on Rhea on the outside, and then they took FTR's move.
Yeah, I love the Shatter Machine finish. Yeah, the big rig, whichever you want to call it. But
I thought it was a great match. I think Dom was on the outside, playing up his heel role. He gave the brass knuckles to Rhea. I think he did everything he needed to do. I think everybody in this match looked good. I think the right people won. I think Edge and Beth needed to win.
You had to make Canada. You couldn't just completely tick them off. I mean,
no.
You were already going to do enough of that tonight.
You had to give them something. You had to give them something. And Natalya sure wasn't winning the women's chamber, so you had to give them something.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really good match. I thought everybody looked good. Like I said though, I hope this is the blow off to end this feud with Edge and Beth Phoenix and the Judgment Day. But I would give this one probably a A-. I'd give it an A-.
I like that. It's about where I was going to sit, somewhere the A-, B+ range. Brandon?
Yeah, but
with that one.
Yeah, somewhere in the I would say A-.
All right. Next up, the men's elimination chamber. Man, this one to me just blew me away at some of the spots. The match itself, the guys that were in it, I thought well deserved to be in it. And it was this is the first time that the United States title has been on the line, right? In this match?
I believe so.
I believe.
Because usually they always had 2 world titles to sort out. And
Yeah, because someone's hogging all the titles right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I really keep thinking they're going to have him defend those against two different people and split those, but hadn't seen it yet. But Theory, Ford, Reed, Gargano, Priest, Rollins. Rollins is going to put on a good performance. I kind of thought he might take it, but I think Kyle had talked about him facing
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Yeah, that
You all
Paul
right
thing.
tonight, Brett? You
you
all right?
I've got lots of things going on upstairs here. We've got a wrestling match going on between my nephews and my kiddos upstairs.
They need an official?
Huh?
Do they need an official? I'll get knocked down and some distractions come in.
I don't know. Maybe an official or a straight jacket or something. I don't know what's going to be needed. But yeah, so Logan Paul, he actually played in the match. I thought that was cool. I know Kyle thought it. Brandon, did you thought when Montez got knocked out, like that he was seriously injured there? Because they sold him pretty hard.
Yeah, and then because I was like, man, and someone else got eliminated. Is like, man, the cage has been open a while, and then here comes Logan Paul.
And then it's like perfect timing, and he comes in, and again a way to keep Seth strong. Now you know who he's going to face.
And the fact that he stomped Seth, didn't he stomp Seth, or he did something to Seth? Yeah, I think he stomped him, didn't he?
Stomped him, yeah. Did the curb stomp on him.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I've heard with Theory. I've heard John Cena mentioned for Theory at WrestleMania.
I would like that.
So I don't know if that's going to happen or hopefully John Cena cuts his hair and doesn't leave. Like last time I felt sorry for him because it's like got this big, huge ball. Just go ahead and shave it, John. It looks better that way. But that's what I've heard mentioned for him. I'd love to see John Cena again, so I would love that.
And it makes sense with what Theory's gimmick is right now, talking about his time is now. He's the champ. They're planting little Easter eggs all over the place, just kind of leading you to where it's going at Mania. I think that would be a great match. There's a couple of spots in this chamber match though that I thought
the Montez one, the Spider-Man off the.
That one was cool. Did y'all notice early in the match, Tez went for the people's elbow? He didn't have he didn't have an arm pad to pull off, so he undid his tape through that. And then Bronson Reed stopped that. Yeah. And then Gargano was on top of Bronson Reed, and Seth dove off the rope, and Gargano did a poison Rana on Bronson Reed, which was nearly catastrophic. Gargano nearly broke his neck. But he did that. Then the Montez Ford spot where he was Spider-Man. And I think they did a really good job of protecting Bronson Reed too, because he hasn't been pinned since he entered WWE, and they had triple super kicks on him. Gargano hit a DDT, a stomp by Rollins, and a frog splash from Montez just to eliminate Bronson Reed. So they did a great job of protecting him. Gargano hit a Hurricane Rana.
They did that all night
too. Yeah,
Kyle, they did a good job of that all night long of protecting people that were in the chamber by making it almost like, okay, so this person's probably dead. That's why they didn't kick out of the pin, because I mean they put so many moves on them. And I think that was a really great job there, because sometimes you put somebody in this match and then they just get pinned. Well, then they just it makes them look weak. Well, they did a good job of not doing that last night.
Yeah, I think they protected Bronson Reed. Tez had me worried. I really thought he was injured, because especially it's a telltale sign that the officials will grab the competitor's hands, and if they squeeze it, they're fine. Well, you could tell he wasn't squeezing anything, and I was like, no, not Tez. He's having such a great night. And then they showed the replay, and I'm like, well, how did he get hurt? Like, I don't get it. And then the slower they were trying to get him out of the ring, I said, okay. And then I saw Logan Paul. I said, okay, Tez is fine. All right, good.
So what do y'all think about the Logan Paul Seth Rollins setup?
Oh, I'm in. Like it.
I think the incredible thing,
I just like
it's crazy for him.
I mean,
he's not even like, he just comes in. He's just a natural in the ring. It's almost unheard of.
I mean, I think Logan Paul, he's fantastic as a, he's athletic. He's believable. I mean, he looks like he belongs.
He sells tickets.
Yeah.
That's so ticket. I mean, Logan Paul's spot with Ricochet at the Rumble was probably the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see anything Logan Paul does in the ring. Here's my thing. I could separate in-ring competitor from person. I think Logan Paul as a person is not great. But in-ring competitor, he's up there with some of the best competitors. Easily, I would say probably easily the best celebrity wrestler to ever come in the WWE.
Do you think they ever put a title on him?
No.
You don't think
No,
so?
I mean that they gave him a title, and there was enough steam going to that. Like, you knew he wasn't going to beat Roman, but there was enough talk there that maybe one day, but you never know.
I don't think so. I mean,
even if you do it for a month, that's just, because that's a guy that's on, and he's on TV a lot more now. He's got commercials now. He's got his energy drink. I don't know. I could see it maybe one day, not anytime soon.
It could definitely carry some extra viewer count on a Raw or SmackDown.
I mean, I think not anytime soon. Like Brandon said, I don't think anytime soon is it. There's too many other wrestlers on that roster that are actually wrestling full time that I think deserve an opportunity, as opposed to bringing in. That's been the problem with
Roman Reigns.
Roman needs to lose some titles, not get any more.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's not on. He's a part timer, honestly.
He's more of a full timer than Logan Paul, though.
It's true, but I mean, he has both titles, and he's on less than a lot of the wrestlers.
Yeah, I think maybe down the road, if it's like Brandon said, if it's for like maybe a month or so in between pay-per-views, to give Logan Paul maybe the United States Championship
or something. Yeah,
I wouldn't give him a world title. No, maybe the U.S. Championship or Intercontinental, but not. I wouldn't give him a world title. I don't think that's fair to the other people in the locker room.
And speaking of the U.S. Championship, so Theory won. He retained it. Does he go into Mania as the U.S. champion? Because did y'all see who he's facing tomorrow night?
He's facing Edge.
Yeah. So does he lose tomorrow night?
Well, here let me throw this out there for you. What if Edge wins the U.S. Championship tomorrow, and we get Edge and John Cena at Mania for the U.S. Championship?
Or just do Cena Theory in a non-title match, and then Edge and somebody else.
Yeah, or put them in a triple threat. Anytime you put Edge and Cena in the ring together, I'm here for it. Take my money.
If it's Theory, I want Theory and Cena just together. Like, whenever they do it, I don't want no one else involved.
Yeah,
because I think the promos and everything, it could be. I mean, I really think it could be gold.
I don't think Edge wins the title tomorrow, though. I think Theory is going in to Mania with the title. But like you said,
does someone come tomorrow night and cost Edge? Not someone non-Judgment Day.
That's my fear, is that Judgment Day is going to ruin it for them, and then we're going to
say someone else, other than Judgment Day.
I don't know
so. Who though. I think
it's going to be Judgment Day or nobody. I think.
I hope it's nobody.
Yeah, maybe they pivot with Bray, or since he didn't do anything with Bobby or Bray. I don't know what they're doing with him. So
there you go. Okay, let's do Theory and Cena at Mania for the U.S. Championship. Let's do Edge and Bray Wyatt. I'm down for that. Get the brood Edge with Bray Wyatt and his creepiness. Yeah.
Or Bray Wyatt just takes over the Judgment Day and brainwashes all of them in there, all his little disciples.
We're getting away from the Judgment Day, Brett.
But that would be I'm just trying to go crazy out there, I still want Bray to have a little group that he controls.
He does. He has the Wyatt Six.
Yeah, we haven't seen them yet.
I want to.
We do see Uncle Howdy. We saw Uncle Howdy with him on Friday night.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's something there.
And the Firefly Funhouse is coming back.
And Nikki and Alexa are doing some weird stuff, so there's always something there.
Yeah.
I think Nikki should be the sister Abigail the witch. That should be Nikki.
She's been doing some weird stuff.
Yeah, she is.
All right. Well, we're down to the main event here.
Hold on, we didn't get to give our grade on the chamber.
Oh, that's right. Oh, the chamber match. Okay, go ahead.
I say
Sorry. Go ahead.
A.
Solid A. Yes, solid A.
Hey, I like that. Yeah, I think the only thing that doesn't get an A+ is if there'd have been a few more people in the match that I could have sold as winners. Kind of like we talked about. I thought it was either going to be Rollins or Theory, but then you kind of changed my mind, Kyle, whenever you mentioned that, there was already something in the works for Rollins at Mania. So I kind of thought, well, Theory's just going to keep it just because he's a very good heel character. I think they've kind of not given him a whole lot to work with as of yet, but the Cena thing could be gold. Like Brandon said, I think that one could be really good.
I thought that I've been thinking that Cena match was coming at Mania, but I don't think it necessarily needs the title. So that's what was intriguing last night, is that truthfully, outside of Montez Ford, because I don't think they were going to give the title to Ford while he's with the Street Profits. So outside of him, I could have seen Gargano pulling one out. I could have seen them giving it to Bronson Reed, as dominant as he's been.
Maybe Breed. Gargano, though, he hasn't done much on the main roster. He's been kind of hanging out with doing stuff with the Miz.
Well, that's the problem. There's another one, the Miz. That's the problem. You put him in with the Miz, who's a charisma vacuum, and it's not. I mean, there's nothing. He's not going to better himself for that. So I think that was a bad decision by Triple H to bring Gargano in to feud with the Miz. Nobody wants to feud with the Miz.
When's Tommaso Ciampa coming back? Because that.
Great question.
I could see Ciampa Gargano 18 million times and never be tired. That feud in NXT was one of the reasons why I love tuning in. Yeah. Like, they could switch them back, heel, baby face. Didn't matter who was heel, who was baby face. Sign me up. I'm here for that one.
Speaking of coming back, I mean, is Randy Orton, is he coming back soon before Mania?
Is he?
That's another that he could add some stuff to,
I know he had back surgery.
Riddle's still in rehab. Is he gonna come back?
I think he can come back March 15th, I think, or something like.
Okay.
I thought Randy. I know Randy had back surgery, but I didn't know if Randy was cleared to still wrestle. I didn't know if he would even ever come back. Yeah. I love Randy Orton.
Yeah, it was a pretty nasty injury. So
yeah, definitely.
All right, so we gave our thoughts there. So now, head of the table, we have Roman Reigns defeats Sami Zayn in the main event. Guys, what a match! I mean, that was incredible. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and up front. That's A+. A++. I don't think they could have done anything that would have made it any better, except for Sami winning it. That would have been probably one of the biggest stories in the last 10, 20 years in WWE, if that would have happened. I mean, just because they compare it to the Daniel Bryan, like he just naturally gained traction, like just out of the blue. And it's just kind of built up over the last several months because everyone's like, Sami. They kept chanting his name, even when he was still with the Bloodline. Then he turns on Roman, and it's just skyrockets him. He was a joke a year ago, guys.
No, yeah.
Yeah, so they brought it up. They brought it up last week. That's the year ago. He lost to Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, which was my bathroom break match at Mania. That was my bathroom break match. I love what Sami's doing right now. I know I got a head of the table shirt on. I didn't think it was going to happen, but I was so cheering for Sami last night. Just everything he's been through. He just wanted to prove himself to the Bloodline, and the Bloodline never even cared about him. They were just using him. And it just I think the storytelling of this whole storyline has been phenomenal from everybody, from Jey Uso not accepting Sami at the start to finally coming around and then walking out of the Bloodline on Rumble, and then last night getting in between Roman and Sami to basically protect Sami from taking more of a beating. I love what's going on here. I'll give it an A. I'm just going to give it an A. I can't give it an A+ only because they left it so open-ended with Jey Uso. Like I wanted something definitive last night with Jey.
Breadcrumb. You got to let the breadcrumbs. They got to have something for you to come back to, Kyle. I know it frustrates you. That's the same thing as a Rumble. You said they left it open. I'm like, that's why you got to come back to watch next week. And see, that to me, I love that because that makes me want to come watch it. It's not now, oh, well, I can skip this week's Raw and I can just catch up. Like, you got to come back and watch it. And that's why I love when they do that. Not that I love to not know, but it's it's like the cliffhanger on your favorite TV show.
Well, I don't like those either, Brett.
It leaves you something to come back to. You got to have something to come back to, and that's why I love those finishes, just for that fact.
I mean, with the way the show ended, with KO coming out and, basically helping Sammy, then you have three of the four competitors that are there. You basically got the whole storyline. It's going to be KO and Sammy versus the Usos at Mania. So just give me the Jey Uso turn in Montreal. Let's get as much heat as we can on Jey Uso to take it off of Roman. So now we can focus on Roman and Cody because now it's open-ended.
You got 5 or 6 weeks, Kyle.
But now it's open-ended because now people are going to say, well, Sammy deserves another shot because he got screwed. Montreal Screwjob Part 2 with Sami Zayn because he got cheated. So now there's going to be clamorings for people wanting Sammy in a triple threat with Cody and Roman at Mania, and I don't want that. I want it to be focused on Cody and Roman at Mania. You got 6 weeks to build that. You got 6 weeks to build the tag team.
Let me ask you this, Kyle. Let's throw this scenario at you. What about Cody says, okay, I'll challenge for one title. Sammy, you can challenge for the other. We have Roman Reigns in 2 matches, one each night, and he loses both one at a time.
If you do that, who does he fight on Saturday?
Who's the first one to beat him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a tough because you kind of in a lose-lose situation there.
Yeah, because then if you have him lose on Saturday, then whoever beats him on Sunday, it's not as big of a deal because he's already lost. This dude hadn't been pinned in 3 years.
Then maybe you have Cody beat him the first night, and then because Sammy beating him is going to be a big deal no matter what, because it's Sammy getting his revenge on Roman, and he completely would end the streak because the streak would still continue. So
what do you do with KO and the Usos at Mania then?
I don't know.
See what I'm saying?
Maybe Jey still stays on Sammy's side for right now, and you don't have to use that story yet.
I get what you're saying. I just think that, like I said, we're nitpicking here because it was such a great night. I think the way the crowd, and I love the fact that Roman and Sammy at the start of the match just stood there to let everything kind of just sink in. I think that built for a better atmosphere. I love that Sammy's wife was right ringside and Roman was talking trash to her. Like, I loved everything about this match. I thought it was great, but these Roman Reigns matches are kind of getting predictable. Obviously predictable because he's going to win, but also predictable with it almost seems like every match an official gets knocked down to allow the Usos to come in. And that's getting kind of ridiculous. Like, can he not win on his own? I mean, that's going
to make it that much more whenever he's beaten.
Right. And that's why I think also you do the tag team match with the Usos. So the Usos, because I think the whole bloodline's falling at Mania. I think the Usos are losing the tag titles, and I think Roman's losing both titles. I think the bloodline is.
What do you do with Solo Sikoa?
If you want to do Sheamus and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship 1-on-1, then you do Drew McIntyre and Solo at Mania because Solo screwed Drew out of the title at Clash of the Castle, and he never got his payback on that.
Because he hasn't been pinned since he's been on the main roster, has he?
He has looked very dominant. So why not? Let's do Solo and Bronson Reed. I'd be down for that.
That would be tough though. You do those two for no title on the line.
Then who loses? And then who gets pinned? Yeah. But I don't know. I think I do think that Solo and Drew McIntyre should be thought about at least because Drew never got his revenge on Solo for what happened at Clash at the Castle. But who knows, honestly, what Triple H is going to do? I have no earthly idea where this story's going, and that's what kind of makes it exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of open-ended.
Did you see Paul Heyman take a stunner?
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Brandon, let me ask you this: whose taking of the stunner was worse, Paul Heyman's last night or Vince McMahon at Mania last year?
I knew you were going to ask. It was Paul still. But I knew you were going to ask that. That's funny.
Vince has probably taken more stunners than pretty close to anybody, honestly.
And Heyman never takes bumps anymore. So for him to get involved into, I think the last bump he took was that F5 from Brock. Was that SummerSlam, I think?
Yeah.
And then he took one last night. But yeah, it did not look. And you could tell KO babied him into it. He was like, all right, there you go.
So but yeah, that's about all. Is there anything else you want to talk about? The next time we'll be on air, I believe, as long as everyone's good. We got AEW Revolution coming up Sunday, March 5th.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be the next episode of Off the Ropes.
Can we do that on Monday?
On a Monday?
Because here's the thing. Hear me out. Because Tony Khan likes to have these AEW pay-per-views go 4.5, 5 hours. So number one, I have to be up here. And number two, it's probably not going to end till 11:30 or so because Tony Khan likes to run these pay-per-views so long.
It's on a Sunday night?
It's a Sunday night, yeah. So we can discuss it.
Okay.
We can discuss
I
that.
totally forgot about Revolution.
But that'll be our next show. And I need to catch up on AEW. I haven't been as
yeah, catch up. I'm a few weeks behind too.
Watching it a little bit. Now here's
y'all both a few weeks behind. Come on, guys.
Yeah. I know.
Game. Y'all got other jobs or something.
But,
yeah,
and it's college basketball season too, so I'm like,
yeah, it's not like we're doing something all the time. I had a couple of games this week. And then
who's hosting the Revolution watch party?
See,
I'm watching it up here. Y'all can come on TV.
Kyle can't ever go. We could have one. I thought we'd do a watch along sometime, but this guy works on the weekends. What a party pooper!
I work right across the street from KLTV, so I can just walk over there.
There you go, man. Come on over.
Our office is right across Broadway. So,
look, I'm excited about Revolution, though. I think since y'all haven't watched it in a couple of weeks, let me give you a little update. AEW is hitting a hot streak right now. They're starting to. The shows are starting to come together a little more.
Is Jay White showing up?
Well, yes, I saw he had his last. New Japan.
Yeah, I think he's done. So he's free agent.
Yeah.
So whoever gets him, I love his work. So whoever gets him is getting a top, top star.
I'm excited.
Okay, would you even want to see him in WWE though?
They'd probably ruin him. So no, I think he stays. If he stays
would Triple H ruin him? Would Triple H? Because
would they make him change his name?
I think that was all Vince. That was all Vince, though. I don't think Triple H has actually got his names back.
So. Yeah, we got Piper Niven now.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be able to use the Bullet Club gimmick. They can still use some of that because they're good with it with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's kind of like his thing. So I don't know how that would work.
I'm really looking forward to the MJF Daniel Bryan match. Bryan Danielson match. I think that's going to be fantastic. I love MJF. He is such a jerk, and I love it.
Oh, he's one of the best heels ever.
I mean, they had on last week's Dynamite, they had his entrance, and during his entrance, they went to a picture-in-picture break. Well, I never watch those. I always just fast forward. But I was like, let me see what MJF's going to do. He walked up to some couple, boyfriend and girlfriend, had the girlfriend kiss him on the cheek, and then flipped off the boyfriend, kept walking around, grabbed somebody's phone, threw it, kept walking around the side, like just trolling everybody on ringside. And I just absolutely loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, man. Well, that's going to be interesting. I like I said, I got to catch up a little bit, but AEW doesn't seem to ever have a bad pay-per-view.
No.
Theirs are all really good. So I'm excited about this one coming up. So we got that one. Then we got, of course, the next WWE one will be WrestleMania. It'll be 2 nights. And I'm not sure how we're going to do that. That's a lot to talk about. We'll have to discuss how we want to go about doing the WrestleMania one.
And Kyle kind of dropped it earlier, but I agree with him. We should kind of do maybe like either the week before or sometime in the week, do some kind of show before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And give our thoughts forward because you have a lot to talk about beforehand that just kind of because that's a big time.
And basketball season will be over, so it'll be a little less busy, at least on my end. No, some of us do baseball and softball, so they'll start picking up.
By the way, I've already requested my days off for the state tournament in Austin for softball because I think there's a team in this area that I think has a fantastic shot at being there. So I went ahead and took off.
All right. Hey, and you're going to be broadcasting those games. That'll be fun.
That's right. That's right. It's always a good time. It's always a good time going to Austin for the state championship.
Whose games do you broadcast this year for softball?
All the same ones we did last year, but I think Reigns is back to their old.
They're still hooping right now, though.
Yeah, they're still hooping, but half the girls that play softball aren't the same girls that are hooping.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so the boys and girls are playing the same location Tuesday night. That's when you were talking about their doubleheader.
The Douglas is playing at the same location Tuesday night too. Douglas boys are playing Big Sandy in Henderson at 6, and then the Douglas girls are playing Hawkins right after that. So I like them doing that. I like the schools doing that.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Off the Ropes, episode 2, Elimination Chamber. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the DSN. We've got all kinds of content coming. We've got the Off the Ropes show. We've got big news. There is a new That's So Dope podcast with Corey, Vince, and JD coming up sometime in the near future. So don't forget about that as well.
That's so dope.
That's we've got lots of good content coming. So make sure you subscribe to us and share all our social media sites. They're scrolling down there at the bottom. For Brandon and Kyle, I'm Brett. We'll catch you next time on Off the Ropes.
Peace.